Yeah, solid. Practice 13 today. It was nice out there. We went on the grass, and guys flying around pretty good. Looking forward to, Saturday. Trying to build toward that. We'll go pretty light on Thursday. It should be a fun day on Saturday. Starting with the Izzo race and people being around and participating in that, and then we'll go out on the field and we'll do some stuff. I think guys are looking forward to it.
A lot of fans have wondered what will the format be, especially people coming from far.
Yep. We're going to try to get some scrimmaging done. We're not going to split up in teams into a little bit of offense and defense, but clock's going to run. Try to create the game-like atmosphere for most of it.
Can you give us just an overall assessment now going into the stretch here of spring ball, or where you think your team is right now?
I think we're progressing. I think we're working hard. I think we got a ways to go, just like anticipating the spring, putting in new offense, defense, special teams. I do think our work ethic is there, but there's a lot to continue to iron out, which was anticipated. We've got a big summer to do a lot of that, and then into August camp.
What did you see in the scrimmage too?
Yeah, scrimmage too. Yeah, same question. It was a good back and forth defensively. For the first half of it, they played pretty well. Not a lot of balls getting completed, or points scored. Second half of it, offense did some things and ended up winning the thing in the red zone. So it was really good. A lot of snaps, a lot of learning for that, and opportunities for really everybody on the roster.
Coach, I don't know if you know, but through the players, you're getting a reputation for being a real open-door program type. Students, athletes can come sit down, joke about things. How do you feel about getting that kind of reputation?
Well, I'll take it. I guess I think it is true. The door is open, and these guys, I'll credit these guys. They've been in these offices with their coaches a bunch, getting a little extra film or checking in. And anytime they're walking around, I love to catch up with them.
How important is that?
I think it's big. I think you want to have an open door to really find out how they're experiencing the program, checking in on life. Again, we're still somewhat new here to learn about these guys and the program, and I've enjoyed it.
This is new to a lot of these guys. How much you, as the new head coach and the new staff, trying to emphasize that this is the way we're going to do things here now?
Well, yeah, you got to lay the foundation, the expectations and standards of how we're doing things, and again, these guys have been working. They've been bought into it. Appreciate the staff in regards to alignment and messaging and what's important. And again, those guys, the staff, talk to them on the day-to-day way more than I do. So we're aligned on that.
In the portal era, is there any concern about in a spring game putting too much on film, putting a player break out, and
right.
all of a sudden people are trying to poach him?
I haven't thought of it deeply that way, but at the same time, I think it's fun. These guys have been working hard. I think they want to get into the stadium and have a little bit of the fans around and be able to play, and so we're going to let them do that.
Portal's opening today, obviously. Where's the roster stand, and where do you see you guys being active, I guess, in the portal?
We'll find out. I know practice is going good, the energy around. Those will be individual choices, but we're kind of locked in on finishing spring ball. Not oblivious to the portal being open, but I think we got a good thing going that guys want to be a part of.
How much has it changed maybe in the last 5 years from, usually at the end of spring you would have some attrition, but now you're having it perpetually?
Yeah, it's quite a bit different than 5 years ago, and just got to learn to navigate, and it's different that way. And again, it's opportunities for these players and situations. I think the origination, I'm not completely down on the portal. I think the origination of it was good, and we're finding a new environment's changed, opportunity for guys to get a better start, or a fresh start somewhere else. I think a lot of that is still good.
What did you see in the growth, a difference between scrimmage 1 and scrimmage 2? I know Brian last week had said that he thought there was ball security problems.
Yeah, that stood out for sure. The first scrimmage, the ball was on the ground way too much. Second one, not at all. And so that was some good improvement.
You took over Oregon State before the portal opened, or started really. I mean, what is it like trying to start a new program in this era with the portal, and then obviously the NIL component and the court rulings that have recently happened?
There's a lot going on there. But again, the portal is a way to add to your roster, and we're going to try to take advantage of that, as well as high school recruiting, as well as development and walk-ons coming apart, and then developing the current roster that you got.
You haven't experienced a football Saturday here yet, at least not as Michigan State's coach.
I know.
Do you get a sense, though, in this community as you've been about how important Michigan State football is here in this area and how much they want to succeed and win?
Yeah, I felt that from really the day I arrived. There's passion, and people care about it deeply, and they're excited about it. Get a lot of people talking, they'll be back, or they've had season tickets for decades and all of that. And so I'm anxious to get a little taste of that on Saturday.
If today was August 30th, how many offensive linemen could you roll out there? Do you feel comfortable with?
Yeah, we're getting there. I mean, we got some health there, I think, and we got some position battles going. So early to say right now that how many guys will play, but I feel confident we'll get good 5 guys out there.
What's the most pleasant surprise through the first 13?
Yeah, first thing that comes to mind, I think our specialist, the way spring's gone. Eckley, I know I mentioned him earlier. This guy has been great. Jonathan Kim was 100% field goals last Saturday and having there. So those 2 jump out.
Is there a position group that's shown the most improvement from day 1 to day 13?
Yeah, that's a good question. This D-line continues to create some havoc. I think we've got some depth and good players at inside linebacker. Cal's had a great camp from 1 to 13. You can see that he's experienced, but learning the scheme. But with Wayne and JT in there, adding it with Jordan, I mean, that's a deep group at inside linebacker. I've been pleased with the progression of receiver play. Like, new scheme, right? Learning everything from 1 to 13. A couple plays getting made by Gates today. And Aiden's throwing it pretty well. Tommy, he's been locked in. I think the guy was like 9 to 10 during the scrimmage. So a long list there.
How much are you looking forward to Saturday and having the public see your product for the first time?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Really, for these guys, they're excited to run around and play in front of some people and kind of see what it looks like.
When you look at the receiver group, you mentioned that. As a former quarterback, what does the rapport, I guess, and the timing and all that, when does that get built? I mean, does that get built now, or does that get built in the summer?
Well, it's
especially
gonna be-
when everything's new for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, this was important during the spring to have the coaches out there constantly critiquing, but then it really get tightened up in the summer. A lot of it will be on their own doing it, but we still got a few months to timing, rhythm, exactness in the pass game. We can make sure that this summer that takes
Do you
place.
feel like the clay is there, though, to
Yeah,
make
yeah, I
big
do.
plays?
I do. I am optimistic. There's some work that's got to get done. The tight ends are part of that, and not just the receivers.
Last year at Oregon State, you had a spring game. This year, not doing it. Is the number of offensive linemen, is that the key component to make that decision?
It's not just O-line position, but depth across the board. How many healthy guys can go in that part, and so that's where every position, if we got enough depth to be able to run a lot of plays.
You grew up in Southern California, and given your age, what was it like meeting Magic Johnson?
Yeah, it was great. He was awesome. Just humble but excited. We talked about a lot of different topics. Football. We got into the draft with him and watched the Commanders. It was a great time.
Kirk Gibson and Magic, who's next?
Yeah, I know. I'm figuring this out. Fernando Valenzuela or something like that.
Were both your scrimmages in the stadium, Jonathan, or were you part of them?
No. The first one was here. The second one.
Will you try to make it like game? Like, will people be up in the booth, and headsets?
We
on,
haven't.
Make it as game
Yeah,
as-
good question. We haven't decided on that. We'll have headsets for sure, but whether the coordinators go up top, I don't know. We're gonna try to get about 4 quarters in, 10 minutes running clock, and no offense versus defense. We're gonna let the defense start with a lead, point wise, and then play.
Was that your first practice in the stadium this spring?
Yeah.
What did you-
On Saturday.
What did you think of the stadium?
Yeah, it's nice, man. Can't wait for it to be full, but the grass, and you can just feel the atmosphere of a place like that. It's gonna be big time.
After 13 practices, where do you see the strength of your team line, and how much of an idea do you have as far as scheme, being able to tailor the scheme to the talent available
Right.
at this point?
Still working through it. I do think at the line of scrimmage, defensively, can be a strength for us. That front 7 on that side. That stands out to me.
Ask Waz about this, but with your staff, I mean, you got guys that have Midwest experience, you in Big Ten, either player, coaching, and you guys. I mean, how much does that maybe help going into the fall when you know that now that there's 4 more teams that you've faced quite a bit coming in?
I think it helps. Even just small things like how you're traveling, what the locker room is like, what weather conditions, even you get into a stadium with wind and things like that. Experiencing going against some of the coordinators, the schemes that we've got guys on staff that have done.
You said defensively, how about offensively? What do you think the strengths are there?
We're trying to be balanced, be able to be multiple, and so we're working out both sides of it. I do think the quarterback, his ability to create and be accurate with it, will be a strength.
What, Sunday comes, what's the next few steps after that for you guys?
Yeah, every player get an opportunity to sit down with their coach, kind of spring recap, things to emphasize, improve on the summer. They got finals in that, and so they'll get with the position coach, and then I'm hopeful to get probably take me about a month and a half to get with every guy too.
What would be the priorities for you and your assistants? I mean, I would imagine getting settled would be one of them in the new home for you guys.
Oh yeah, a lot of guys are getting there, on the personal side. Priorities would, again, to kind of find some clarity on the roster over the next couple of weeks and move forward.
What have you learned about the running back picture this spring?
I think Nate Carr's a good player. I do think that, learning watching him, instinctive, can catch the ball out of the backfield. He has stood out.
Pre-game stretching today, I saw you talk with some players and those type of things. After a certain number of practices, does that become a little bit more comfortable and natural as you get to know the guys?
It does. Over time, it gets more and more natural, comfortable, knowing backgrounds, having conversations before. Takes a little time, but I've enjoyed getting to know these guys.
Time for a couple more.
Aiden Child's familiarity with the scheme is kind of a benefit to having him here. Alante Brown talked last week about just his leadership style and the way he kind of talks to guys in the huddle. What have you just thought about the way that he has, helped the offense take those steps this spring?
I think his style is, fun, competitive. He's got a strong voice, but it makes it competitive on both the offense versus the defense type thing. I think his experience in the offense allows him to communicate with receivers, tight end, and backs on some exactness of routes and where he's expecting them to be, and then vice versa.
How different is he this spring versus maybe like early last fall?
Yeah, he's different. You can tell his comfort level. Been through a season of playing this offense. He's gained some weight physically. He's stronger, so he's different that way.
It's tough to be a leader when you're kind of a new kid on the block.
It is.
But he doesn't shy away from that, does he?
No, and again, he's not trying to overdo it. I think he's just being himself. I understand the position that he plays, but he's being genuine. He's got some, influence within the team, and he's not alone. We've got a bunch of guys that influence this team in a big way that have been here for the last couple of years.
And how did he do from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2? How did he come along?
Yeah, solid. Pretty similar in regards to his production and decision making. He had a couple of runs that probably are explosive plays for live tackling.
I wonder what you saw with Joe's defense and kind of where that's headed in terms of how you want the scheme to be, and
Yeah, he's put in a decent amount of scheme, and again, got to learn what he's got, talent and skill set wise and things. I think he's done a good job in disguise of coverage. That has not been easy on our quarterbacks.
how you guys communicated what you want versus what he wants, and kind of find that middle ground.
Yeah, it's a conversation, and again, schematically, we brought him here to do a job that he's done at a high level, and so he's got freedom to get that done. We had just conversations on the personnel side and what guys' strengths are and those kind of things.
With how important the tight end is in you guys' offense, just you have Velling who's been there and behind him. How's that coming along?
Yep, solid. We've got 4 guys really healthy out there, with Parachek not being able to go. Mike's done a good job with a lot of. Those guys actually made a couple of plays on Saturday that made us even more confident we can keep 2 of them out there.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.